Welcome to video 2 in our service dog training extravaganza. Let's talk about the law. Is there a real registry? Can you actually bring your dog everywhere? Let's get myth-busty. Do you need some sort of certificate, a plaque, a vest, something on their collar? Here's the no-nonsense truth for the US, and then we're going to talk a little bit more as we go on about what happens when you cross the pond. So here's the deal. And I found it kind of crazy. There is no legal registry for US service dogs. Vests, badges, even ID cards are not required by the law. The law only says that your dog must be individually trained to help with your disability, and they must behave in public. So how do you prove it when you're out in public? One, nobody ever asked me, but if it's not obvious what service your dog provides, like obviously a seeing eye dog is a seeing eye dog, people can legally ask you 2 questions. Is that a service dog required for a disability? And then what task is the dog trained to do? You do not have to show medical records or demonstrate the task. They can ask you for your trainer's contact information so they can have proof that you worked with a trainer. Now, there's the US public access and the public access test. So most trainers recommend passing a public access test, which looks for calmness, no aggression, no begging for food, no begging for pets, and completely ignoring distractions. You test it in places like stores, cafes, elevators. It's not the law, but it is your shield against doubters and your badge of confidence in real life. Remy was amazing at public access. Although he might bark in excitement at home or playing with the other dog, when he has the vest on, he went silent. You want to train the things you might run into. Escalators, although those are risky for dogs because they can catch their fur in the treads. So we mainly stuck with elevators. Shopping carts, loud noises, super busy places, lots of like unique smells. Like, does something smell like engines or metallic-y? You want to take your dogs to as many places as possible that mimic other things. IKEA was great on a weekend because it's really crowded. Tons of people, lots of moving carts. We'd walk through tight spaces. We'd make sure he could lay down and not get up on furniture. We would do surprising sounds, like we'd crash into something so that he would hear noises. And he was really good at instinctively knowing how to get out of the way. From what my dog trainer said, some dogs are just good at that and some aren't. The ones that aren't can get anxious, like when they're really in a tight place and there's a lot of people, and that does not make a good candidate for service work. So why is misrepresentation a problem? Well, one, we've seen the emotional support peacocks and things like that, which is, I'm sorry, just ridiculous. There's also a big difference between an emotional support animal and a service animal. So an emotional support animal, that can kind of be any dog. Like you can have anxiety and you feel better when your dog's around. I 100% get it. That is definitely the case with me and Remy. Like when Remy's around, I feel calmer. There's a lot of research that says being around animals helps chill you out. But here's the thing. If you don't have a disability, count yourself as super fortunate that you don't have a disability. But let the people with disabilities have the service dogs that we can take everywhere. I mean, membership in this club should have some sort of privileges, don't you think?